This is huge. Erika just announced that she is 8 weeks pregnant with what would be her third baby with Charlie Kirk. Only problem is that Charlie died 10 weeks ago. The numbers just don't add up. The story is gaining huge traction online as people speculate on who the father could be. However, coupled with the fact that JD Vance's wife seems to have taken off her wedding ring, it seems obvious.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD. And Vice President JD. Yes, I do. I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend.
Erika Kirk, okay? Relax. I was more skeptical before she was talking than I am now because she's over-explaining herself.
You seriously won't believe this mess. It's about to shake you to your core. This isn't just gossip. It's a full-blown political earthquake, one reporter muttered, exploding inside a courtroom where the truth hit harder than anyone was prepared for. "I'm 8 weeks pregnant," she'd said. Her husband? Dead 10 weeks ago. The math was impossible. The scandal, unstoppable. And then, with cameras rolling, reporters standing, and every heartbeat in that courtroom frozen solid, Erika Kirk quietly hinted that JD Vance might be the father of her unborn child. One sentence. An entire nation went into meltdown. But before the judge could even breathe, Usha Vance stood up. No permission, no hesitation, just pure, raw fury. She marched straight toward Erika like a woman who had just watched her entire marriage catch fire in front of the world. Reporters dropped their pens. Security tensed. The judge shouted for order, but it was too late because this wasn't a hearing anymore. "Get her out," Usha screamed. It was a war between two women tied to the same man, and only one of them was calm. Erika stood there, steady as stone, while Usha shook with anger, betrayal, and a fear she couldn't hide. And then came the bomb that silenced even the cameras. "Usha tried to pressure me into staying quiet," Erika stated. The courtroom went dead still. JD froze. Usha exploded. "That's a lie. You're lying. I didn't." Her voice cracked through the room as she denied everything, but her meltdown only made the suspicion worse. Photos, messages, that viral hug, timeline evidence, every detail dragged JD deeper into the scandal, while Usha's wedding ring rumors resurfaced like gasoline on an open flame. And then the darkest moment of all. I feared Usha might make me disappear. Every reporter stopped breathing. The judge threatened, "I will remove you from this courtroom, Mrs. Vance." JD stared at the floor like a man watching his entire life fall apart. By the end, JD fled the room. But the cameras followed the real story. Usha versus Erika. Two women, one unborn child, and a scandal the world will never forget. They say some scandals burn slow. This one didn't. This one detonated. Because the second Erika Kirk walked into that courtroom, 8 weeks pregnant, eyes hollow from grief and voice trembling with something darker than fear, the world already sensed something was off. And when she whispered the timeline that broke the internet, everything else just collapsed like wet paper. "My husband died 10 weeks ago," she stated simply. Her pregnancy? 8 weeks along. 2 weeks short. 2 weeks impossible. And yet she stood there, calm, focused, almost ready. People thought the shock ended there. They were wrong because what happened inside that courtroom wasn't a scandal. It was a demolition. Cameras weren't even rolling, yet when whispers began leaking down the hall, her math doesn't add up. Who's the father then? Did JD know? Every reporter leaned forward. Every security guard stiffened. But the real explosion came when Erika raised her head and, without shaking, said the name that would split the nation. "I believe JD Vance might be the father of my child." And before the echo of her voice even faded, something even more shocking happened. Usha Vance, calm, polished, untouchable Usha, stood up. Not politely, not quietly, not like a wife protecting her marriage, but like a woman who had just been stabbed in front of 1,000 cameras. She moved toward Erika slowly, like someone walking through fire, full of rage, disbelief, humiliation, and a terror. She couldn't hide, even if she tried. The attorneys froze. The gallery went silent. The judge slammed his gavel. Order. Now. But Usha didn't stop. This wasn't a hearing anymore. This was a showdown. Usha breaking like glass. You bitch. Erika didn't flinch. Not when Usha stood in front of her. Not when the tension cut the room apart. Not even when reporters held their breath, waiting for the first crack. She simply looked at Usha the way someone looks at a storm they've been expecting their entire life. Usha's voice was sharp enough to cut steel. Explain this now, Erika. But Erika didn't blink. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't tremble. She simply repeated everything with the same quiet clarity. The timeline, the emotional support, the nights JD comforted her after Charlie's death. The closeness no one knew about. Every word was a knife twisting deeper into Usha's chest. JD avoided their eyes. He stared at the floor like a man watching his entire world slip from his grasp, and the crowd saw it. He didn't deny anything, not one detail, not even with his eyes. But the real breaking point came when Erika calmly said, Usha pressured me to stay quiet. No shouting, no drama, just the truth. Delivered like a quiet bomb. The room froze. Reporters gasped. Even the judge leaned forward. Usha exploded instantly. You're lying. Don't you dare. Her voice cracked through the courtroom like a lightning strike. Her anger wasn't just visible, it was violent. JD reached for her arm to calm her. She yanked it away. She wasn't defending JD anymore. She was defending her entire identity, her marriage, her position, her reputation, her survival, and she was losing all of it at once. Erika continued describing the private interactions, late-night conversations, comfort after grief, moments of emotional intimacy no outsider could fake. And the more she talked, the more the audience saw the truth JD wouldn't say. He wasn't as distant as he wanted the world to believe, Erika whispered. Usha's jaw tightened so hard reporters could see the muscle twitch from across the room. And JD, he sat like a man sinking through the floor because every sentence Erika spoke was a brick dragging him further down. Erika's lawyers brought out the timeline evidence, photos, public encounters, messages, body language clips, and the viral hug that had been analyzed thousands of times online. Reporters locked onto Usha's face like hawks. Every piece of evidence made her expression fracture one layer deeper. She wasn't losing the argument. She was losing control. JD didn't look up once. Not when the hug appeared on screen. Not when the messages were read. Not when the gallery reacted with disbelief. It was the silence that betrayed him. When Erika said the line that turned the scandal into a national emergency, no one moved. No one even blinked. I feared Usha might make me disappear. Silence. Absolute silence. The kind that squeezes the air out of a room. Usha snapped. I didn't. That's insane. She lunged forward, furious, shaking, shouting denials so loud the judge threatened to remove her from the courtroom. JD tried to pull her back again. She ripped her arm away again. The gallery whispered, why is she reacting like that? Why so desperate? What is she hiding? And in that moment, the public sympathy changed sides forever. Erika calm. Usha unhinged. JD silent. It didn't matter what the truth was anymore. The optics had already crowned the winner. When the hearing ended, it was chaos. JD rushed out first. Head down, hands shaking. Like a man running from the flames. He bolted, but the cameras didn't follow him. They followed the two women. Erika, steady, composed, unbreakable. Usha shaking, furious, broken apart in real time. The nation watched Usha exit the building. No ring on her finger. No husband beside her. No control left to hold on to. Analysts began their breakdowns instantly. Memes flooded the internet. Body language experts went viral. Clips of Usha confronting Erika hit millions in minutes. And every headline repeated the same message. This wasn't the end of the scandal. It was the spark. The beginning. The moment the truth escaped and refused to go back underground because now the world wants answers and both women are ready to burn everything to get them. The courtroom air felt heavier than concrete. Every whisper had died. Every camera lens stood frozen. What happened in part 1 was only the spark. But what was coming now? Boss, the walls are collapsing, and Sun Keys and Dodgy's car is blocked off. Someone yelled outside, and at the center of it, J.D. Vance, Usha, and Erika, a triangle soaked in betrayal. J.D. re-entered the courtroom after a tense break. His face pale, his hands shaking, like he had aged 10 years in 10 minutes. He wasn't the confident senator anymore. He wasn't the polished public figure. He looked like a man who had just crawled out of a collapsing marriage. But the real storm was waiting on the other side of the room. The two women whose lives he had shattered. Usha sat stiff, her jaw clenched, eyes burning with a terrifying mix of humiliation and rage. She had been JD's perfect image, the strong wife, the private partner, the calm diplomat. But now she was a woman fighting to keep her world from crumbling. And on the opposite bench stood Erika, quietly, fearlessly, tragically powerful. She didn't need to scream. She didn't need to defend herself. Her silence alone was loud, enough to break the courtroom's spine. When the judge called the hearing back to order, every camera jerked toward the front. The nation wanted answers, but what they were about to receive was pure chaos. Mrs. Kirk, the judge began. You may continue. Erika stepped forward. Her voice was soft, but each syllable cut sharper than a blade. I didn't want any of this, she said, but I was forced. Usha's eyes snapped open, wide, furious, terrified. Forced by who? The tension screamed louder than any words. Erika continued, struggling to steady her breath. After my husband died, things happened that made me fear for my life. People tried to warn me, and someone tried to silence me. JD lifted his head. For the first time, eyes wet, guilt burning through his expression. He knew what was coming. He knew what she was about to say. Usha slammed her notebook shut. Your Honor, she snapped. This is character assassination. This woman is fabricating. But she never finished because Erika pulled out a small folded paper, crinkled edges, smudged ink. The kind of thing people hide in shoes or walls when they're scared someone might find it. The courtroom gasped. What is that? The judge asked. Erika swallowed hard. A warning, she whispered. Left on my doorstep the same week I learned I was pregnant. JD's throat tightened. He knew the handwriting before the paper even unfolded. And when the judge read it, the entire courtroom's breath turned to ice. Stop talking or you will not live to see that baby. Everything exploded at once. Usha jumped from her seat screaming, That's not mine. That is not mine. Erika didn't flinch. JD covered his face with both hands, shaking uncontrollably. Boss, this raw meltdown doesn't happen in mainstream courtrooms. This was Netflix-level insanity. The judge shouted for deputies to restrain Usha as she lunged forward, pointing at Erika with trembling fingers. She's framing me. She's trying to destroy my family. But Erika's reply was devastatingly calm. I don't need to destroy your family. Your husband already did that. JD collapsed into his chair. That one sentence. Boss, it's like Wooks and Dejai got buried alive beneath the pressure while Elaine T. and the journalists typed like their keyboards were catching fire. Every major network went into emergency broadcast mode. Influencers went live mid-hearing. Twitter, X, exploded with real-time hashtags. Hashtag Vance Scandal, hashtag Erika versus Usha, hashtag Political Paternity War, hashtag Justice for Erika, hashtag A Bombshell, hashtag Meltdown. The judge pounded the gavel again and again, but the chaos refused to die. Mrs. Vance, he barked, sit down now. But Usha didn't hear him. She was locked into a battle with Erika. A silent emotional war built on jealousy, fear, betrayal, and a truth she wasn't ready to admit. You ruined us, she hissed. Erika looked at her with heartbreaking softness, like a woman who never wanted this fight in the first place. I ruined nothing, she said. JD made choices, and now those choices are growing inside me. JD's shoulders shook harder. It was the first time anyone had said out loud in the courtroom the possibility that the child Erika carried might be his. A tsunami of gasps rippled through the room. The judge had enough. "We are taking a recess," he shouted. But the real damage was already flooding the building. JD stood. Usha stood. Erika stood. 3 lives, 3 truths, 3 tragedies, all colliding in a moment that no one would ever forget. Usha turned to JD, tears streaking down her cheeks like cracks in a glass mask. "Tell me," she whispered. "Tell me it's not yours." JD didn't answer. Silence. "Boss, Woki G's confession was so much more dangerous than this." Usha staggered back like someone had shoved her. Her breath hitched, her lips trembled. "JD, please." But he still couldn't speak. He couldn't lie. He couldn't deny. He couldn't protect her. Erika watched quietly, sad, exhausted, broken, not triumphant, not victorious, just caught in the ruins of someone else's world. While the cameras zoomed in, capturing every tear, every breath, every shift in their faces, JD finally whispered, "I don't know." Usha shattered. A sound escaped her throat. Not a scream, not a sob. Something deeper, something raw, something only women betrayed in the deepest way can make. Deputies rushed to her side as she stumbled, clutching her stomach, gasping for breath. This wasn't a scandal anymore. This was tragedy. This was heartbreak. This was the downfall of a political family live-streamed to millions. Erika stepped back as JD moved toward Usha, but she stopped him with a whisper that froze the entire hallway. "Check the DNA, JD. You already know the truth." JD froze again. He did know, and that's what scared him the most. What you're about to witness is the devastating climax that will leave the world gasping. The courtroom that once seemed like a stage for debate had transformed into a battlefield drenched in betrayal, heartbreak, and secrets that could destroy lives in seconds. Every camera lens, every whisper, every flash of the press bore witness to what no one thought possible. A scandal so explosive it would define the careers, marriages, and futures of everyone involved. Erika Kirk walked into the room, her posture straight, her eyes locked on Usha Vance, the woman whose life she had unknowingly intertwined with tragedy. The tension was unbearable, the kind that makes a room feel smaller, air heavier, and hearts pound in unison. "This is no longer a legal battle," one reporter muttered. It was a war of truth versus facade. Every step Erika took toward the stand felt like she was carrying the weight of 1,000 untold stories, and the silence in the room made it deafening. The judge tried to maintain control, pounding the gavel with all his authority, but the storm had already broken loose. Usha Vance, visibly shaking with rage and humiliation, rose to confront Erika head-on. Her calm exterior from previous hearings had vanished. In its place was raw fury, a combination of fear and jealousy that radiated from her like heat from molten metal. Every inch of her body screamed that she was fighting for survival. Not just her marriage, but her image, her control, and the world she thought she had carefully curated. Erika, however, did not flinch. She spoke softly, steadily, almost tragically, recounting every private moment, every warning she had received, and every reason she believed J.D. Vance could be the father of her unborn child. Her words were calm, but their impact was like a bomb going off. The courtroom froze. Reporters leaned forward, cameras zoomed in, and social media exploded as live clips of this confrontation went viral in real time. JD Vance sat motionless between them, his face pale, an expression unreadable. For the first time, the carefully constructed facade of the politician, the husband, and the public figure crumbled in front of millions. He wanted to speak, to intervene, to control the narrative, but he couldn't. Every glance exchanged between Erika and Usha seemed to bypass him entirely, as if the two women had become the center of a world he no longer commanded. "Your Honor," Erika's voice cut through the tension like a knife. "I fear for my safety. I have received threats. I have been warned to stay silent, but I will not be silenced. The child I carry deserves truth, and I will speak it." The room went dead silent. Every reporter, every attorney, every observer felt the weight of her statement. Usha's face twisted into disbelief, fury, and panic. Her carefully rehearsed defenses were melting away under the sheer force of reality. She lunged forward, pointing accusingly, shouting, "You are lying. You are trying to destroy everything." Erika did not move. She remained composed, her eyes locked on Usha, her calmness amplifying the chaos around her. "I am not lying," she said. "I am only telling what happened. I am only naming the truth." JD's hands shook as he clutched the arms of his chair. His head dropped as if the weight of a lifetime of lies, betrayal, and secrets was crushing him in that instant. For the first time, he appeared vulnerable, human, and incapable of shielding anyone. Not his wife, not his reputation, and certainly not the unborn child whose future was now under scrutiny. The evidence Erika presented next made the courtroom erupt. Messages, photos, even video clips showing private interactions between her and J.D. after Charlie's death were laid bare.